Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all are fine. Welcome back to MLS Online Virtual Classroom. My dear students, we are on chapter number 1, Civilization and Empires in South Asia. In the previous lectures, we learned about the map of South Asia and the countries of South Asia: Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bhutan, Nepal, and Bangladesh. We also learned about the timeline of civilizations and empires built in South Asia. For example, we learned that the Indus Valley civilization was the very first settlement in this area. Then we also learned about the reasons behind the settlement of people over here and subcontinent as a melting point. While in today's lecture, my dear students, we would be doing a comprehension activity regarding question and answers of this chapter. That is our today's target. And the very first question for today is: why was the subcontinent a suitable place for settlement? Let's revise that what did we learn in the previous lecture. In the previous lectures, we learned about the settlement of people over here. The very first reason behind this settlement was a long coastline. As you can see in this picture, my dear students, that the long coastline regarding Pakistan and India in this area is a coastline. So this led to the settlement of people over here because it provided them with a longer trade route. Also, we learnt about the river system, that the river system was very developed in this area. So ultimately, for the sake of agriculture or for the sake of cultivation, it was a very suitable place. As you can see in this picture as well, we have the example of Ganga's river system in the present India. You can see the blue lines. These blue lines show the developed river system. Another factor behind this was fertile land. My dear students, even at this time, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and these areas are really fertile. They are really suitable for cultivation. For example, we grow crops of like sugar, we grow crops like cotton, and while these crops are water consuming crops, but the land over here is fertile and water is available, so that's why we are cultivating these crops. Similarly, centuries ago, this area was same, so that was also another reason for the settlement of people. Another reason is availability of natural resources, for example, water and other metals, etc. as well. So, the last reason behind this settlement was favorable climate. The climate over here is favorable. For example, instance, it is neither too hot nor too cold, and also at this in this area we get a chance to have all the kinds of weather like spring, autumn, summer, winter. For instance, in Antarctica and Australia, all the time there is a cold weather. So that's why the climate over here was favorable. So these all reasons led to the settlement of people to come to settle in this area. So the answer to this question would be: the subcontinent was a suitable place for settlement due to following factors: a long coastline, river system, fertile land, natural resources, and favorable climate. So all these five reasons are behind the settlement of people in the subcontinent. I hope the answer is clear. Now the question arises that how would you write this question and answer? You would have to write these question answers on loose sheets. You have two options: either you can pause the video over here and write the answer from the screen on your loose sheet, or another option is the first you will learn all these questions with me through this recorded lecture, and after then below this video the answers on question answers would be available, their screenshots would be available, so you may write from there as well. It's up to you. Let's move forward to the next question. The next question is: how does studying different people living on subcontinent help us today? The question is regarding that why we are studying the people of subcontinent which lived here thousands of years ago. What is the purpose behind it? So the answer for this we would be revising the previous lecture. That why do we study the people of subcontinent? The first reason is to know how people, countries, and cultures have evolved, to see that how the people developed from one stage to another, how their cultures came into existence. Another reason is to know the past of our own nation, as being the part of subcontinent or South Asia, as we are in Pakistan, to know our own past, that how our ancestors were. It is necessary to study the people of that area. Next reason is to find how cultures have developed. For instance, my dear students, right now in India there is a caste system and division like Brahmin, Shudras, etc. So, by studying the culture and the ancient people, we came to know that this caste system came from the people which settled after Indus Valley civilization, the Aryans. So that's how we came to know that today's culture is has roots in that previous culture as well. In the same manner, by studying the previous culture, we would come to know our present culture, that why today's our rules and values, why they are being developed in this manner, because they have certain roots in our previous culture of our ancestors. So to find out that how cultures have developed. And the last reason is to plan our future by learning from history. My dear students, in history there are certain things which are uh, kind of lessons for us. By studying our history, there will be certain points which we would learn that we should do it again so that we become successful. And by studying our history, we would also come to know certain points and certain facts that if we that we should not repeat those points at this time again. By repeating those things again, ultimately we would not be successful. So by learning about our history, we would come to know about pros and cons of our ancestors. Okay, that what did they do good and what did they do wrong. So we would know about the right and wrongs of our ancestors, and accordingly we would follow their rights, and we would stop ourselves to repeat those wrongs. So I hope that it is clear. So the answer to this question would be, studying different people living on subcontinent helps us today to know how people, countries and cultures have evolved, to know the past of our nation, to find how cultures have developed, to plan our future by learning from history. So again, you can pause the video or you can write the answers from the pictures given below to this video. Our next question is, how subcontinent became a melting pot? And the answer to this is, the subcontinent became a melting pot because the people who lived in subcontinent came from different regions of the world. Now the question is that why this was a melting pot. Melting pot is a kind of pot where everything is being put and melted down and a new result comes out. For example, we keep a pot on the stove and we put different vegetables, oil and different stuff over there, and ultimately all things gets melted and gives us another dish. So that is the question, is that how this area become a melting pot. That means it means that how different people came over here and a new culture developed. So the subcontinent became a melting pot because the people who lived in subcontinent came from different regions of the world. So ultimately the people over here are the result from the people who came all over the region of the world. They came from different areas and they came over here. Their cultures, their values, their religion, those all things got intermixed, and ultimately a new culture, a new set of values got developed in subcontinent. And the next question is, make a list of all the regional languages of Pakistan. Basically, my dear student, regional language means the language which is being spoken in a particular area or particular region. For example, Urdu. Urdu is a national language of Pakistan that is spoken all over the nation, from KP to Balochistan to GB. GB means Gilgit Baltistan, to Azad Kashmir, to Punjab, to Sindh. Everywhere that language is being known and spoken and written. Now, the regional language is the language which is spoken in a particular area. For example, in Kashmir, a particular language would be spoken. In KP, a particular language would be spoken. Which there are people which would know this language in other regions as well. For example, the Pashto of KP would be spoken by certain people who are living in Sindh as well. But in particular, in Sindh, all over the Sindh, no one would be speaking Pashto at provincial level. So I'm giving you 30 seconds. Make a list on your loose sheet. So let's see that which regional languages you have written and which one I am sharing with you. You can take any regional language which is being spoken in Pakistan. I'm giving you 30 seconds to ponder upon and make a list of your own. And then let's see which languages I have taken and which languages you have written. I hope that you have made a list. The regional languages of Pakistan should be on your fingerprints. So the regional languages of Pakistan are following the very typical, which we have the first four languages of Pakistan being the four provinces like Punjabi, Sindhi, Pashto, Balochi, and then I have chosen three more languages: Hindko, Kashmiri, Gujarati. So I have chosen these seven languages. I hope that you would have chosen certain other different languages as well. So what you have to do, that you may write those languages as well in this answer. Another thing, that you may share those languages which you have written in the chat box down below, that ma'am, I have chosen another language different from you. One more important thing is that, my dear students, see in this question that I have written P, S, P, B, H, K, G capital. These are proper nouns, and proper nouns are supposed to be written with capital letter. For instance, language is a general word that can be any language, so I have not capitalized its first letter. While the Punjabi, Sindhi, these all are proper nouns, so I am capitalizing their first letter as well. So in your answer sheets, these letters must also be capital. On the other hand, if you look at Pakistan, so wherever you are writing the name of Pakistan, the P should be capital. I hope that the question answers are clear to you. Now your homework is to write question number 1 to question number 4 on your loose sheets, and another task is to learn the question answer as well. If you have any query which you want to be resolved, then kindly comment down below this video and we would get back to you. Allah Hafiz, take care.